Greetings petrolheads, my name's Tom, you're on my gaming channel, and today I'm playing some more Automation, a car company tycoon game. And you know, when I was requested to do a car that requires a V6 engine, I first thought of a Ferrari 246 Dino, and the problem with that was that there was no body shell for it in the game or in the workshop at that point in time, so I made a Ventura Atlantique. But now there is a body for that Ferrari Dino, and here we have it. And so we're gonna make that car. Now this body is not very morphable at all. You can only morph this right here, and the wheel arches, and also this, if I could catch it, this lip right here, which we're gonna make like that, and also this area to move in or out. I want it to stay flat though, so I'm not gonna touch it. And other than that, oh yeah, there's one more thing you can morph. This. I think we want these as flat as possible at least. So immediately, once we go back to 1969 where this car was introduced, let's go to 1970 though, and that's got a reason, which I'll get into a little bit later. Immediately we have a problem. This car is made from aluminum and we don't have aluminum available. Even if we go to its last year of production, which is I think 1975, even then we don't have aluminum here. So let's just stick with 1970 here and go for galvanized steel, which is surprisingly hard to pronounce. The engine is placed transversely, and then we have another problem, which is that the Dino 246 has coil spring suspension front and rear, which is an option that we don't have. So let's go for McPherson struts, and I'm gonna flare the wheel out just a little bit. Not too much though. And in the panel we're gonna choose handmade alu, I think. One more thing I want to address is if you go to into the workshop and browse it a little bit, you can see that there are now pop-up headlights available. And just so you know, just for your information, they're in the game now. They're there. We can use them, and there's no more excuse for me to not make cars with pop-up headlights right now. So request right away. Request away. Request whatever you please that has pop-up headlights, or something that doesn't have pop-up headlights. It's totally fine with me as well. These I think are the best suited headlights for the Dino 246. They look a little bit funky here, I admit. Well, all this does is turn the circle around, which is, you know, not really productive. Let's do this. No, just put them like right there and make them bigger. That's too big, I think. Should have just left it where it was. Anyway, we're gonna take care of the grill first, and then it also has a pretty interesting indicator arrangement that is, you know, something you don't really see anymore. these days on newer cars. Like some design elements on older cars were a little bit more more detailed than on newer cars, and some were much more simplistic. For example, taillights, which we'll get to in a second. Well, not in a second, but as soon as I'm done with this front end. So the indicator arrangement starts like this, and then we get, is this too far up? I think this is too far up. Then we have a little bit of something like this. And we get that in a slightly lower angle. And then just, you know, close the gaps. Like so. Those are the indicators on this car. And then below the grille we have a number plate, which is pretty small, like that, I guess. And then we have another grille, which looks a little bit funky on this in game at least. And then we have some perfectly round vents right here, which is something we don't have in the game. Closest we can really get is, you know, some of these. And then we have not a Ferrari badge, but rather a Dino badge on the bonnet, which is basically just a chrome badge, which we're gonna make with this fixture right here. Put this right there. Just imagine this saying Dino on top of it. And then I think we're done with the front. We've obviously got some more stuff to do here on the side. Firstly, I'm gonna choose to make these vents. Oh no, wait, we're not done with the front end yet. I'll get back to it after we've done these three. 1, 2, and 3. Because we have some vents on this bonnet as well. Like that. And we also have another vent down here. Excuse me? I'm trying to build a car. Can you please let me make this a little bit longer? No? Well, if that's all I can do, then that's all I can do. Let me check something here. What do the door handles look like? If I could actually find a picture of the side that is not blurred, that would help immensely. Well, let's just put Let's just put, no, these are too modern. Some of these, I guess. Let's just put these on here. Also on the rear end there's one problem, and the chrome bumpers only go until here, and the metal is free. There's nothing I can do about that though, so we'll just have to leave it as is. There's so many new fixtures now. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Then we're just gonna go ahead and make the taillights. See, this is something I just love about old cars, is the simplicity of the taillights. Like one orange one for an indicator, one red one for everything else. That's all you need. That's really all you need. And then the number plate right here, and then, you know, the Dino only goes to about here, and then the exhausts are beneath that, but well, let's try making a hole and then place the exhaust inside that hole. For example, this. Well, you can see the chassis there. But if we go to the exhausts now, we don't need these. We can use just the regular ones. Yeah, that happens. I don't know why this happens, but it happens. So I guess there's nothing I can do about these exhausts, because I've tried to I've actually recorded this already once before, like just before recording this, and after recording I noticed that I forgot to unmute my microphone, and you know, just it's basically like, well, I'll have to do this whole thing again. Anyway, it's not like it's hard work or anything. So it is transverse rear drive, and on that last try I also encountered this bug, or I don't know if it is a bug, but I encountered this problem, let's say. Excuse me for that chair squeaking. Now let's get to the engine, which I have already made on the other recording. I'll show you around. This is a V6, and the real car has 92.5 by 60 bore-to-stroke ratio, which is a crazy bore-to-stroke ratio that we cannot resemble here in this game. So 88.1 to 66.1 is the closest we can get. If you want to keep the total capacity the same, which is 2418. It is dual overhead cam with 2 valves per cylinder, cast iron block, aluminum head, cast iron crank. Then I chose these conrods so because we want to rev the crap out of it. It revs to 8,000 RPM in 1969. Well, it's 1970 here, but the Dino was introduced in 1969, so. And forged pistons. We gave this a lot of quality, because otherwise these parts would just break. And the compression is 9.0 to 0, cam profile is at 100, so we make the power as peak as possible. Because it does come in at 7,600 RPM on the real car. 7,400 here. I could not find a way to make it come in even later. It is NA, obviously. And here's another thing I don't know about this engine. Is it mechanically injected? Or does it have carburetors? Anyway, I went for the mechanical injection. I went for the leanest fuel mixture actually, which is probably not accurate because, you know, it's a Ferrari. But I did that because when I made this cam profile so high so that the power comes in at 7400 RPM, I was making way too much power, and this was one way of lowering the power. And then ignition timing, lowering that was also a way of losing power, and also has the side effect of, you know, making the power come in later. I chose long tubular headers with a single exhaust and, you know, appropriate exhaust diameter. No mufflers because nobody needs those, and we're just gonna listen to this baby. So, that's a proper good old V6 sound for you. It's got a 5-speed manual gearbox. Top speed is 235. Second gear probably tops out at over 100 kilometers an hour. I don't think it's gonna diff. It's got... Well, it pains me to say this, but we gotta decrease the rim size. Like 14-inch rims on a Ferrari seems just inappropriate. But you know, it's we gotta do what we gotta do, because otherwise we're not gonna fit. Like 185 millimeter rear tires would just be suicidal on this car. So so in order to fit wider ones, we have to decrease the rim diameter, sadly, which is what we did. It's got solid disc brakes with, I believe, 2 pistons up front and 1 on the rear. The diameters I know though, it's 270s on the front and 254 technically on the rear car, but let's round that up to 255. I think we can all agree on that. No, on a tray we don't have lips or wings, so we don't need the wing angles. Then cooling airflow we're gonna just decrease to an adequate amount. 2 seats with what I would consider standard interior and basic entertainment. It does not have power steering as far as I know, and standard 60s safety. Let's go for progressive springs. Probably just twin tube dampers, and then a sport setup. Let's see, 993.2 kilograms is what this thing weighs now, and that's way too light. At the same time, I mean, this only adds 9 kilograms. Even this only gets it to 1013, so you know what? It's gonna be too light anyway, so let's just keep it that way. At least now it goes like hell. 6.9 seconds. Actually, wait. Yeah, 6.8 with just slightly shoulder gearing. Let's listen to this thing on the quarter mile. Yeah, glorious. 6.8 seconds from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour is, I think, faster than the real one. I think the real one does it in like, don't quote me on this, 7.3 seconds? 7.4? Something like that. Which is not slow. Like 6.8 seconds from 0 to 100 is not slow. It feels solid, I think. I've driven cars that do 0 to 100 in about this amount of time in my life. I've also driven faster cars, but you know, still under 7 seconds from 0 to 100 is definitely fast enough for everyday purposes, for overtaking, for, you know, accelerating on the highway and all that. Yeah, so this is the, I should probably name this. This is the Ferrari Dino. It's the 246. And I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button, it helps out a great deal. Subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.